What happens when a politician known for fiery hearings and sharp questioning finds herself on the other side of the questions? California congresswoman turned gubernatorial candidate Katie Porter just learned that lesson the hard way. Two viral clips, one showing her sparring with a reporter, another showing her berating a staffer, have exploded online, sparking outrage, defense, and a whole lot of questions about leadership, temperament, and what it really takes to govern the largest state in America. This is the story of how one of California's most recognizable Democrats went from commanding congressional hearings to storming out of interviews, and why these moments might redefine her entire campaign. Katie Porter first burst onto the national scene with a whiteboard. A law professor turned politician, she grilled CEOs in viral clips that made her a progressive icon. She branded herself as the truth teller, fearless, tough, unafraid to call out corporate greed and political hypocrisy. Now, as she runs for governor of California, she's trying to transform that image from congressional watchdog to executive leader. But leadership isn't just about passion or intellect. It's also about composure, respect, and restraint. And in early October, two leaked videos began to tell a very different story. It started with a sit-down interview. Katie Porter was asked a pretty standard question. What do you say to the 40% of California voters who voted for Donald Trump? Porter's reply came sharp. How would I need them in order to win? The reporter followed up. Well, unless you think you're going to get 60% of the vote, you'll need at least some of them. Porter pushed back again. In her mind, she didn't need Trump voters. If it's me versus a Republican, she said, I think I will win the people who did not vote for Trump. But when the reporter asked what she would do if another Democrat was her opponent, things got tense. Porter interrupted, said she didn't intend that to happen, and began to sound frustrated. Then, on camera, she announced, I don't want to keep doing this. I'm going to call it. The reporter seemed surprised. You're not going to do the interview with us? Porter stood firm. Nope, not like this. Not with 7 follow-ups to every single question you ask. That exchange spread like wildfire online. Clips flooded X and TikTok with captions like Porter meltdown and candidate walks out of interview. Supporters said the journalist was being pushy. Critics said the reaction revealed her inability to handle basic scrutiny. What might have been a minor disagreement turned into a defining image. A would-be governor walking away mid-interview, visibly irritated by tough questions. Just as the interview clip began to cool down, another video reignited the fire. It was from 2021, a Zoom call with then Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm. In the clip, Porter can be heard snapping at a staffer who accidentally walked into the camera frame. "Get out of my f***ing shot," she said sharply. "You were in my shot before that too. Stay out of my shot." The moment was jarring. The staffer quietly backed away as Porter continued the meeting, unaware the video would resurface years later. When it did, it was devastating. Critics called it abusive, arrogant, and entitled. Commentators replayed the clip alongside headlines about high staff turnover in her congressional office, painting a picture of a boss who couldn't control her temper. Within hours, Porter issued what some called an almost apology. She acknowledged that she could have done better, saying she holds herself and her staff to high standards, but has tried to show more gratitude since then. It wasn't quite an admission of fault, more a statement of self-awareness, but the damage was done. Soon, the two clips, the reporter confrontation and the staffer incident, merged into one viral storm. Talk shows replayed them side by side. Conservative pundits mocked her as unhinged. Even centrist outlets questioned her emotional discipline. Progressive supporters defended her, saying women in power are often unfairly labeled angry for showing assertiveness. But perception is everything in politics, and the visual, Porter's tense tone, her decision to cut the interview short, the way she spoke to her staff, became its own story. The Washington Post described it as a self-inflicted credibility wound. The San Francisco Chronicle called it an almost apology for an almost scandal. And Politico noted that the viral footage reset the complexion of the California governor's race overnight. Porter's campaign tried to move forward, highlighting her record on housing reform and consumer protection. But the algorithm doesn't forget. Clips of her freakout still dominate search results, overshadowing months of policy speeches and town halls. What makes these moments so powerful isn't just the footage itself, it's what they suggest. In public life, small moments can define entire careers. When a politician loses their cool on camera, voters don't just see frustration, they see potential instability. When a leader yells at a subordinate, people don't just hear anger, they imagine what that person might be like behind closed doors. For Porter, whose brand was built on intellect and fearlessness, these clips create a contradiction. How can someone known for holding others accountable struggle to keep composure themselves? And how does a candidate campaigning on empathy and justice appear to treat those around her with impatience and hostility? Those questions echo louder than any campaign slogan. On social media, reactions have been fierce and divided. One side sees Porter as a strong, no-nonsense woman being unfairly criticized for confidence, a double standard that male politicians rarely face. Others see arrogance, entitlement, and emotional volatility unfit for high office. Some viewers even compared her reaction to similar incidents involving politicians like Amy Klobuchar or Kamala Harris, pointing out a recurring debate. When does assertiveness cross into aggression? Meanwhile, late-night hosts had a field day, replaying the "get out of my shot" moment and mimicking her tone. Political strategists called it the Zoom that will haunt the campaign. Porter's opponents seized the opportunity. Ads started surfacing, featuring the clips under dramatic narration. If she can't handle a question, how will she handle California? In a race already competitive, perception became policy. Days later, Porter addressed the controversy directly. She said, quote, "I'm not perfect. I work hard, and I expect the same from my team. But I've learned that showing gratitude and patience is part of leadership too." It was an acknowledgement, but not a full apology. She didn't name the reporter. She didn't explicitly say, "I was wrong." And while many appreciated the statement, others called it carefully worded damage control. Political analysts noted that in the age of viral media, tone often matters more than text. An almost apology can feel like no apology at all if it doesn't sound sincere. In American politics, optics drive narrative. A few seconds of tension can overshadow years of competence. That's the power and danger of virality. For Katie Porter, these moments raise deeper questions. Can she transition from being a fierce congressional interrogator to a calm, unifying executive? Can voters trust her to lead millions when she appears to bristle at a single follow-up question? And in an era where every misstep becomes a meme, can any politician survive the relentless microscope of digital politics? The California governor's race will answer those questions soon enough. But one thing is clear. This election isn't just about policy anymore. It's about perception, composure, and the ability to stay steady when the world is watching. At the heart of this viral saga is a universal truth about leadership. People don't expect perfection. They expect presence. When things go wrong, when questions get uncomfortable, when a camera's rolling at the worst possible time. Those are the moments that reveal who a leader really is. Katie Porter's story, fair or not, now lives in that digital archive of defining political moments. Her campaign may recover, her supporters may rally, but those few heated seconds will follow her for years. And that's the lesson. In the era of permanent recording, every word, every tone, every expression tells a story. The story voters heard from those two clips? A brilliant, determined, passionate leader who may still be learning how to lead people, not just win arguments. Whether you see her as a fearless reformer or an unhinged hothead, one thing's undeniable. Katie Porter's viral confrontation has become a mirror for politicians, journalists, and all of us about how we handle pressure when the world is watching. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the moments shaping modern politics. I'll see you in the next one.